Let's continue now with where we left off yesterday in the speech that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave to the convention of all of his representatives, the Shluchim convention. It says the Shluchim Kenes HaShluchim. All the Shluchim convene, they all come together in New York. And at that time, when the Rebbe was speaking, there was maybe 1,000 of them or something. Now there's like 5,000, who knows something. And they all came together and the Rebbe spoke to them. So this actually was the last Shluchim convention that the Rebbe spoke at, because shortly thereafter he had a stroke. And the stroke rendered him unable to speak. So this is the last time that the Rebbe. So the message that the Rebbe gave to the Shluchim is that in a way, there's nothing more essential to Judaism than emissaries, than being a shliach. Because it accomplishes the goal for which God created the world. And that is that everybody should be influenced and convinced and go and influence and convince others about something important, something people don't know, to change people's paradigms and goals in life, to show everyone what really is important, what the Torah really is all about, what Judaism is about, fix up the whole world, taken us olam. And that's the shluch. What do we see? This, that Abraham wanted to accomplish the marriage of his son, Yitzchak. So, and which that meant the whole continuation of Judaism, which means the continuation of meaning in the world, because only the Jews have been entrusted with this job. So Abraham, he received his godly soul from God. And now he wants to pass it over, and he passed it over to Yitzchak when Yitzchak was born. And now he wants to give Yitzchak the ability that he can pass it over also to his future generations. They pass it over. So he has to find the proper wife. So this is very important because this is the whole Jewish people. So, but Abraham didn't do it on his own. He sent an emissary. He said, the Rebbe, that's you. He's talking to the Shluchim. That's you. You're the emissaries. And the fact of the matter is, you're here to make every Jew an emissary. And every Jew potentially already is an emissary. And the Rebbe said, so what's the goal? What's the big novelty we're coming to teach everybody that everybody doesn't know? Mashiach. Mashiach that's our only job. That's our only message. That's our only purpose. That's our only goal, is to educate the world about Mashiach. Each person according to his own ability, each person according to his own nature, each person according to his own, how do you say, IQ and EQ and etc. and experiences and past and etc. But nevertheless, that's the goal. That's why we're meeting here today. The only reason we're meeting, that's what the Rebbe said. The only reason we're meeting here is to bring Mashiach and to talk about Mashiach and to encourage about Mashiach and take it and make all sorts of plans and talk to one another about what's the best way to bring Mashiach. Mashiach. So that's what the Rebbe made it very clear, especially the first paragraph. The Rebbe made it clear, and then again he made it more clear, and then he made it again clear, as though to say, I know you're going to, how do you say, not be inspired by what I said, and try to find a way out or ignore it, but I'm saying it again. Mashiach, that's the goal. Mashiach, that's the purpose. Mashiach, that's our means, that's our end, that's everything. Mashiach. You have to look at the words of the Rebbe. The Rebbe said it, I didn't say it. Mashiach. I got it. Okay, everybody says I got it. And what's the goal of this Mashiach? The whole thing, the Rebbe repeats it all the time. And that's what this Rebbe is talking about. And essentially, that's all the Rebbe ever talked about. That's the whole, and that's what Judaism talks about. Even the most mundane details of Judaism are only talking about Mashiach, because Mashiach is going to be a person like Moses. And just like Moses did things that no one ever expected that he could do, change the whole Jewish people, take them all out of Egypt, get the Torah. Who dreamed of such a thing? It never happened before. It's not even accurately related in any history book, as far as I know, except maybe in religious Jewish schools. What exactly happened when Moses took the Jews out of Egypt and they received the Torah, and what's in the Torah? And that's what Moses did. And that's why it's so tremendously important that we talk about it. So the Rebbe said Moses was the first redeemer, and Mashiach will be the last redeemer, and really they're all together. So if so, Al-Pi Yadua, according to what we just said and what's known, Shekol Echad, that each and every Jew partakes a little bit of Mashiach and Moshe and Mashiach. Moshe says was the first redeemer. He did the impossible, took the Jews out of Egypt, revealed God to everyone. Everyone saw God. He split the sea. Everyone saw God at Mount Sinai. Everyone saw God. God gave them the Torah, all these little details. No one ever expected something like that. They were all, just a few days earlier, 50 days earlier, they were all slaves in Egypt. Like they were caught, trapped over there. Who had dreamed that they would come out, and nobody even thought, and that's what Moses did. He did something which was incomprehensible. You can't explain what he did, and he did it to every Jew. As Mashiach is going to do even more so. Even more so. It's going to be even a bigger surprise. It's going to be more against what we think is our nature. So now it's moving. It's understood that in every single Jew, there is me'ayin, these two topics we talked about before. And what do we say where they are before? Moses, the main thing of Moses is coming from above to below, what God gives us. And Mashiach is like King David going from below to above, like the prayers of King David, the supplications. Each and every Jew is a shliach, is an emissary. Each and every Jew. The Rebbe is talking to all the shluchim in this convention. So you think that the Rebbe would say, listen, only you can do it. You are the emissaries. It's all depending on you. The Rebbe said, no. Every single Jew is an emissary of God. The shamish the kono, to serve the Creator, to improve the world. Kololat shlichus, and what is the purpose of this shlichus? Of what is our mission? Le'ir et ha'oretz, to shine up the world, to educate the entire, open the eyes of the whole world. Le'ir et ha'olam, to illuminate the world with the light of holiness, u'b'or Elokei, and godliness. In other words, everyone should say, thank God, I'm being created by God. I want to do what God says. I want to avoid what God forbids. I'm never going to be depressed because God is always with me. I'm never going to hurt anybody because everyone is as precious as I am. Looking at the world from God's point of view. In this, there is two ways. Number one, the two big lights, sun and the moon. Me'ora gadol, the sun, umora katan, and the small light. That's what God made on the fourth day of creation. Okay, you do it. It's known at the olam natan belibo. It says the whole entire world was put into the heart of every human being. It's a sentence in Kehelet, in Ecclesiastes. The world is put into the heart of each and every person. Olam natan belibo. In every single Jew, mishtakfim, calling in every single Jew is found every detail of the world. Avodaso mashpia. Therefore, every single Jew must be like the sun and like the moon. The sun gives. That's the thing of Moses, giving. And the service of the receiver, that's the receiver. That's like King David. That's the moon. By means of this, every Jew has to be like Moses and Mashiach, giving and receiving. That by means of this, there is made He'ir et ha'oretz, to prepare the world, to illuminate the world. So Moses brings godliness into the world, and Mashiach prepares the world to receive this godliness. That's what's called Or Choser, a returning light. Like Mitalmid Ayotam et Kulam, like it says, I learned more from my pupils than I did learn from the Torah, from teaching, from my friends. The Yesh Bazeh, Masha in Bazeh, there is in this what there isn't in this. In other words, every single Jew has an obligation to be a receiver and to be a giver. To be a receiver and a giver. And that you are a giver, that you give to the world, is enhanced by the fact that you receive. You receive from godliness, that you're part of the world. And it's that you also influence godliness. You also influence the world. So you have to be both all the time receiving godliness and learn. One simple way of looking at this, and it's not really so simple, but it's just that every single human being, we're beginning with the Jews, because the Jews are God's people. We're supposed to bring this message to the whole world. So every single human being has something to contribute to the whole world that nobody else has. Sounds a little bit ridiculous. I mean, there's not 8, 9 billion people in the world. Everybody has something unique. How can it possibly be? So the answer is, listen, we're in the world that's in exile, so we can't see the uniqueness of everybody. But one of the main accomplishments of Mashiach will be that we will be able to see the uniqueness, goodness in everyone. Therefore, we'll have a positive opinion about everyone. And also, we'll see how much we're lacking. Every human being, 8 billion people have something that I don't have. On the other hand, I have something that 8 billion people don't have. So on one hand, I have something, I can be a giver. On the other hand, I have to be a receiver. I'm from 8 billion people. And the same thing is with every detail that there is in the world. Everyone has something to give and something to receive. Here, the Rebbe is talking about godliness, the awareness of God. And the awareness of God doesn't mean that you're religious. It can just be a smile, just be helping another person, doing a good deed, having a positive the feeling, a positive attitude when nobody else does, right? That's also godly. It's also godly. So therefore, these two things have to be in a shliach. Number one, you have to be totally surrendered to the one who's sending you. In this case, the Rebbe is speaking to the shluchim, and the one who's sending them is the Rebbe. But on the other hand, you have to be an existence on your own. You have to be separate in the world. Bar dat. You have to use your own opinion. Shemavor ba'atzmo. You have to make your own decisions. Be'emtzeut sichlo hayishi. With your own intellect. Take advice from people. But finally, you have to make the decision. So how you should do your shlichut, your mission best. To shine up the world. Umizen, from this, Moshe and Mashiach, and Moses and Mashiach, that they are united. Moses is the first redeemer. He was the one who brought godliness down. And Moses will be the last redeemer, says he will also be the Mashiach. They're embodied in the Mashiach will embody both of these things. Nimshach, so as understood, he'll embody Moses in a spiritual way and himself in a physical way, but because Moses came from the tribe of Levi. But the whole, I say, movement and dynamics of Moses and Mashiach are in the same person. And in fact, the Rebbe wants to say, who is that person? It's you, it's me, each and every one of us. So, but the real Mashiach, that person who is the Mashiach, he's going to awaken that in each and every one of us. So Nimshach comes me'ainzeh in the service of every single Jew, that because every single Jew is an emissary, every single Jew can unite these two things together. Yesh Lomar, we can say that this is also hinted at the word Shemesh, the sun. Sheyesh lo shtei perushim. The word Shemesh means the sun. But the word Shemesh in Hebrew also means a servant. Shamash. The sun, on one hand, me'ira, it shines up the world. And Shemesh also means a shimush, means like a servant. It serves. A bittul shalom Mashiach, that you have to be just totally surrendered. On one hand, you're an illuminator, you're giving. But the other hand, you're just a simple servant. I was created only to serve my master. Ad until sha'ani lo nivresi elo l'shamash eskoni. My whole existence, I was not created except for serving God. So on one hand is I was created, I'm a separate thing, and I was created, but I was created in order to serve God. Another one is that I wasn't created. I wasn't created. Except to serve God. In other words, if I'm not serving God, I'm not created. I have no reason to be here. So that the second is showing a total surrender to God. The first is saying that I was created to serve. I'm a separate entity. According to what we said before, that the ability to do this shlichus, to do this mission, which is found in general, this comes from the first time it's mentioned in the Torah, which is what? This week's Torah portion. That Abraham sent that Eliezer to make the match between Yitzchak and Rivka. Moving, so it's understood also, Shekashem, just like in the first shlichus that Abraham made when he sent Eliezer, Abraham gave the power. Kol asher lo, he gave everything that he had to Eliezer, gave everything, he put it all in his hands. Because this enables him, only this enables him to do his mission that he's supposed to do, Shekol Pratim, that all the details will be Chadurim Benekuda Haklali Shel Yehuda Shel Yichud Ma'avaban. That Abraham gave everything that he had, says to Yitzchak, but he gave it through Eliezer. Eliezer had a document which contained all of the properties of Abraham. It says what type of properties? Everything, even the spiritual, everything he had. He gave the whole business over just for this shlichus, just to do this job, unifying Yitzchak and Rivka. Which we said before, that's the unification of Ma and Ban. Remember, we learned that before, the spiritual of God giving and the world receiving. Okay, and similarly, B'kol Shlichos, every time there's an emissary, and there is an emissary, someone, a representative, a Shlichos Shel Yehudi, to serve God, who that has to, God is giving him, Kol Shelo, everything, from God. Just like Abraham gave everything over, all of the powers, all of his accomplishments, all of his abilities, all of his merits, he gave it over to Eliezer in order to accomplish this unification of God and the world. So the same thing with us. We're also shaluchim. We were sent directly by God in order to fix up the world, and God gives us everything. Ad koach atzmusa, that God gives us his essence, which includes everything he's got. In order to actually bring about a unification between the soul, the spiritual, and the physical of a Jew in this physical world. So a Jew can't say, listen, I can't do this, I can't do Torah, the commandments, I can't keep Shabbos, I can't control my anger, I can't get out of this depression, I can't stop being whatever is my addictions, whatever I have. And the answer to that is, you're right, you can't. You can't, but God can. And God gave everything he has to you. So you on your own are helpless. But God is not, he's not only helping you, he's giving you everything, the whole entire jackpot. It's all yours. Often in such a way, shakal aprate, to each and every Jew, and through them eventually each and every human being, to able to withstand the temptations and the frustrations and the pressures of this world. Shakal and the disappointments. Shakal apratim, all the details and the details of the details in a person's service, in the service of the Jewish people, should be permeated in a revealed way with this one general point, namely revealing the Moshiach in the world. That's the point the Rebbe wants to get to. We have to bring Moshiach. Moshiach is going to change everything, and it's in our hands to bring him one instant sooner. That's the completion. He's going to be the ultimate shliach. And all of this is especially relevant in our generation. Why? Because our generation, this is the Rebbe said, 30 years ago, the Rebbe said, especially in our generation, Asher Bo, that in it, Nosaf, there's one novelty in the shlichus. Namely, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Kavod Kedushas Mori Chami Admor, Nasi Dalreinu, the leader of our generation, which I'm going to show a picture of him again. So let's see, let's do it again. Here we go. Let's see. see, will this do it? Will it do it? Let's see. Yes. See, here's the previous Rebbe, previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. There must be more pictures of him also. Here, pictures of the previous Rebbe. Here, this is when the Rebbe came to America the first time. Was it 1929? He came. See more pictures of the Rebbe. Anyway, but yeah. Good. This is the previous Lubavitcher. Okay. This we have the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. He's the leader of our generation. Previously, he said the Moshiach of our generation. He said last week we were in the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, who is the Moshiach of our generation. He appointed each and every Jew in our generation to be his emissary, his representative, to spread out Torah and Judaism and spreading out the teachings of Hasidut until Lahavas Agula, until it brings the total redemption of the Jewish people, all of them. Ukafisha Roim, like we can see actually, now it's easier to explain to a Jew, Afilu Kazesh Livneze, even to such a Jew that previously it was not revealed by him at all, any connection to Judaism. You can explain to a Jew nowadays that in addition to your individual service of God, you also have an obligation to be a shliach, the shpia, to influence, from your good qualities and from your knowledge on other people. Hechel, beginning from his family, his friends, his close friends, his acquaintances, his friends. Anytime you meet somebody, to say a good word, try to bring the person a little bit closer to realizing how special they are, how wonderful Torah is, how wonderful God is. And in this, the Tosef Biyuchad, it's added especially regarding to those people that merited among the Jewish people, that they were chosen to be the actual shluchim of the previous Rebbe. The Rebbe was speaking this 30 years ago, so there were still Jews that were alive that had been sent by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe to various places to spread out Judaism. All of your servants of God from the whole 24 hours of the day should be, the Mukadeshes is permeated, filled to just do the mission which we were chosen for, to spread out Torah, Judaism, and the teachings of Hasidut outward, and to bring the future redemption. How much more so, how much more so when the shluchim, when we're sitting here now, and there are emissaries from all the corners of the world, they're all gathered together in the Kenes HaShluchim Olami, in the Kenes HaShluchim, in the Shluchim convention, Asher Kinush L'Tzadikim, that it says the gathering of righteous people is good for them and it's good for the world. If so, all of you are sitting here today, and your goal is to be an emissary of me, which I'm just an emissary of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, to bring Mashiach. So if so, this for sure brings tremendous pleasure. Hana emiti, true pleasure of holiness to them and to the world. The world, as it is now, the word for world is concealment, helem, and concealment. And especially this is the Kenes HaShluchim Olami, this is what's called the convention of the world convention of the emissaries, representatives of the Rebbe, Shluchim Nimsa B'Kol Kitzvei Table, that there's emissaries of the previous Rebbe found in all the four corners of the world. And their service is expressed, the Bittul Ha'elam, to rid the world of the concealment and the, how do you say, the lack of godliness which is in the world, and to transform it until this whole physical world becomes a dwelling for God in the world, like we was before the unity of Ma and Ban, Yitzchak and Rivka, God and the world. This is a preparation, and wherever you are, you're doing it in a small way. This is a preparation for the future redemption, the future and total redemption by means of Mashiach. Okay, I think we'll have to finish this tomorrow, Friday, but here, let's just do a little bit more. And all of this, so it's added on even more in our generation, that in it, there's, I just did this. Oh, here we go. And in this itself, and this is relevant to the Kenes HaShluchim every single year. This year is a special year. Why? Because the service of Shlach na b'yad tishalach, of being a shliach, like Moses said to God, send whoever you want to, send the Mashiach, the shliach of the Mashiach, that we have to be shliach of Mashiach. We've said before that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, that he is the leader of our generation, he announced shekavar siyumu, that is already finished, all the Inyanei Torah, every single topic, every single detail. Previous Rebbe said, we have already finished every single detail of our service of God. And we're already ready to receive the Mashiach. Previous Rebbe said, now the previous Rebbe passed away in 1950. So he said this before 1950. So it means that we're ready to receive, the world is ready. The critical mass of Jews has returned to God. And now the nuclear reaction is beginning. And the result of this is supposed to be an explosion of good in the world, a flood of meaning and love and life in the world. That's what Mashiach is going to bring. Molei ha'aretz deyat Hashem, kamayim liyam mechasim. Kafisha roim, like we can see clearly also that what has happened in the world now, there's a lot of signs of the redemption. Now this, the Rebbe was speaking, this is after the fall of the Iron Curtain and the fall of Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was shooting these massive missiles at Israel and nothing happened. And he was defeated, amazingly. And the Iron Curtain, it was impregnable. Nobody thought it would ever fall. All of a sudden, one day, it just fell. It says this was a big miracle that reached the time of your redemption. From this, that we can see, and this, the Rebbe spoke this back then. This was when the Rebbe said this, right? This was like, 30 years ago. So we can see it really now. Malchus Mizgaro Zubazu. One of the signs of Mashiach is that all of the countries in the world are all threatening one the other. They're threatening. They're all angry one the other, all threatening one another. The only thing they can pretty much agree on is Israel is bad. Israel is bad. I just read just now that the United Nations wanted to make a decision that Israel has to stop attacking the Hamas. They have to stop. They have to stop. That's it. It's enough. They've done enough. What about the prisoners? Let's talk about something else. What about punishment, reparations, something like that? That's it. And the whole entire world, everybody, except for America, the whole entire world voted in favor. Israel has to stop. Israel is at fault. Okay, they were mad. I can understand that. The Hamas killed a few people, but the Hamas, they're justified, right? I mean, everything they do is justified, and everything the Jews do is not justified. So the whole world, really, every single one of the members of the United Nations, that's what it says over there. I don't know, maybe it's some sort of a big deciding body or something. Anyway, they all decided against Israel. That Israel is wrong. They have to stop fighting against Hamas and against Hezbollah, against everybody. They just have to stop fighting, right? They have to stop fighting. The only ones that were on their side was America. That was the only ones that were on their side. Okay, what that means exactly, who knows? Of course, that's ridiculous because the only one on our side is God. God is on our side, right? And these people in the United Nations think, well, if we decide, then that's it. We got the whole world in our hands. But the fact of the matter is they're forgetting that God is creating these people. Says the Rebbe, we can see that if it wasn't for Israel, all the nations of the world right now, everybody's angry at everybody else. No one trusts anybody else. They're all, and especially but Medinas Arabim, and especially the Arab nations. Kolel include also in these days, Shekama Bekulam, the Ida Shalom, that even the Arab nations have decided after Saddam Hussein was defeated to make peace in the world. They let that they're willing to mavater on everything that they said for the sake of peace, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is, Shalo Dubin V'lior, the whole thing is a big lie, and it's a big. They never really intended anything, but at least they're talking about it. At least it's in the air, says the Rebbe. At least it's in the air. Okay, that was back then. The Rebbe said that, so we can say, and a lot of people do say, okay, we missed the chance. We missed it. That's it. We thought it was going to come, and it didn't happen. Or you can say the other way around. What are you talking about? The Mashiach has to come for sure. If it didn't come then, when the Rebbe said, for sure it has to come a week after, a month after, a year after, for sure. Every moment that passes by is more certain Mashiach has to come. He's late. It's not that he missed the bus and he gave up, right? Mashiach for sure is going to come. Any second now, it has to happen. Why has it not happened? Good. There's a good question. Mashiach will answer that question. As we're going to talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. No, let's do. One second.